Today we're building the RoboMaster S1. We made some mistakes, but I'll show you what not to do when putting this thing together. It takes 2 to 3 hours, and you know what? It works great on both Apple platforms and Android platforms. Interested? Here we go. Today is an exciting day. Not only because I have my son with me, but because we have a robot. This is a DJI RoboMaster. It took a long time for it to arrive, not because once the shipping was done, 3 days and it's here. It comes from Shenzhen province in China, went through Hong Kong, then it went to the hub for FedEx, and it got here in about 3 days from when they shipped it. I guess they ran out of parts, and so I got this on the second run. It comes in a fairly indescript box with a little warning label there, and I believe there's another box inside. So what we're trying to do here is we're going to give you first impressions and thoughts. My personal experience is I have dozens of years working on STEM projects, working on robotics with kids of high school and middle school and even elementary school age. So I have a little bit of insight here on what the value of this product is. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive depending on how you look at it. An interesting thing is it's going through customs, and I think that's to give it an indication of whether or not this was cut open, and it was unbroken when we received it. So here we go. Unboxing.
There's another box inside the box.
Of course, there's another box. Okay, so it has the little shipping label. We'll put that off to the side.
Ooh.
And now we bring the box out. Now, one of the things oh man, this thing's, I thought was heavy. Okay, oh. Other unboxings that I've noticed actually had styrofoam peanuts or something on the inside. This one doesn't have that.
I think it's on the inside of this.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the box is pretty big, so I think
Look
that's
like
good.
on that side. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. A little bit of that, a little bit of this. They've been working on presentation. I'm very impressed with this. It's almost like they're following. Okay, you got it over here, buddy. Otherwise, people won't be able to see it. It's almost like they're following an Apple iPhone or an Apple experience. I mean, look at the size of the box, the whiteness. It's a detail thing. DJI has only been around since 2006. That's when it was started as a college project. And the other thing I find interesting is that it's fairly lightweight. We're going to weigh the robot. We'll give you all sorts of dimensions on it. But the interesting thing is it's built with the insight of quadcopters and flying platforms. This guy probably has a lot of things that are compact in there, and they're probably really high quality. They're durable because you can crash them and yet hopefully pick them up again. Hopefully. And this is also part of the RoboMaster series, which is the Chinese version of US First that Dean Kamen started. Sorry, Dean. So here we go. Open up the box. Again, little details. Now this is the first layer. Look at that. Huh? Alright, so I'm opening it up so they can see it. So we have... These are motors. You think those are motors?
Yeah,
okay.
They look like motors.
And the great thing about this STEM project is you have to assemble it. You have to do all sorts of things. Here you have... Oh, these are the numbers. And there's a tray. Okay, so here's the first tray. Okay. Let's shift the box off to the side a little bit. Thank you. So, okay, thanks, able-bodied assistant. So here we go. That's the motors, the controller. This is the tools. Okay, let's leave that in there for a second, and then come on over here. We're going to focus on this right now.
That is a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
And then wheel components. We're actually going to time how long this takes
To make.
It's
Probably going to take a while.
Oh, I'm sure it will take hours. Hours of fun. Okay, so this is the wheels component part. Okay, let's get the second tray out, please. Second tray out. And once again, kind of like a... Here, let me try. Here, you just pull on the bottom of the box. And very much like an Apple product, recyclable. They could have obviously made this out of plastic, but they made it out of pressboard, cardboard, and there's the other components. So 2 boxes of components.
Huge components.
How many are?
About 326.
About 326?
About. That was last time I looked.
Okay. Alright, so we'll open this up. Hopefully the instructions are in here.
A lot of instructions.
Okay, so here's the RoboMaster instructions. And then these targets that I've heard so much about.
Hard.
Alright, so we'll put those targets away. We don't need those right now. Correct?
It's actually a tiny manual. I'm kind of scared because the manual is so tiny.
Oh, come on. This is like a Lego project. We changed the angle of the shot so you can see inside the box and it'll be a little easier. So you get a RoboMaster instructions. Here's the wheel section. I guess we could take these all out of the box at the same time, but then we may lose something. Look at all these little parts. They even have a screwdriver and a plastic hermetically sealed thing. Amazing. Now we don't want to lose all these parts, right?
Yeah.
So we got to be very careful with
It's
that.
like the Lego set. If you lose one part, most it really doesn't work that much.
Okay. And we'll figure out what all these are. These are probably the sensors, or some of the sensors. Oh, they're really packed in there.
Yep, sensor.
Okay. And then this is the
launch chop.
weapon. All very compact.
Mass destruction.
Okay, mass destruction it is. We'll see. Now it's time for assembly. We're gonna time this. There's videos and we can point to them where people are putting these together. The difference I want to do on this video is point out what I like about it, what I don't like about it, things that I think when we start testing it and wringing it out, where some of the issues might be. It's a little dusty. I don't know how that's dusty. This is the main body of the robot. Oh, this is gonna be fun. And the instructions are in English and probably Mandarin and Cantonese. This is like Legos, right? Because it shows part by part how to do this.
Yeah, it has numbers about which part is
Right,
which.
so that's the steps. Yeah, so we're gonna go through this. Okay, we are officially starting the timer now. See how long this takes. We're 7 minutes into the build and we have all the component parts for the wheels. So the instructions will tell you where in the tray to find all the various components, and then it has all the components listed out here. Here's an exploded view of the robot. And then here is this kind of a Lego approach with visuals on how to put this together. Okay, so now he's putting grease in the F1s, F2s, F3s, and F4s. The F1s are related to the F2s, yes?
Yes.
And the F3s are related to the F4s. And I don't see any marking on the part. You just have to look at the visual. Okay, now we're assembling the first wheel. These tabs have to be in there pretty straight. You have to make sure you do that, and you have to align this little thing with the red little thing when you put it inside.
To line the arrow with the red dot on the wheel cans.
Correct. So this is the tool. It must be magnetized because you really don't want to lose any of these screws or you're not going to be able to put this together. I wonder if this is going to be enough grease. And we are now 19 minutes into the build. Our thinking is once we figure out how to do one wheel, the other one should go pretty quickly. Okay, we're now into the 27-minute of the build. We've got 2 wheels together.
3.
You didn't put screws in that yet, have you?
No.
No. So one of the things that you wonder about is how much grease. If you put this much grease, just one little dab almost to the top, that seems to be just the right amount. If you put it in too little, you'll probably get too much friction. Put in too much, it's just going to run the grease out. But I was concerned we wouldn't have enough grease. Now I think we will if you put in just that amount right there. Time, 31 minutes to do 4 wheels. What do you think?
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, but how hard is it? I think that's the most complex piece right there. So when we started looking for a part, we were looking for D4, we found the screwdriver handle that was located in here at this part of the box.
And there's another
The
part.
same one in the wheel. Those are the little pellets. We'll leave those in for now. Put them back. Remember, we don't want to lose any of these pieces because then. So here's the chassis, and it is 35 minutes into the build, and we've assembled the first part of the chassis with a handle on the screwdriver. Showing the screwdriver. All right, major progress on getting the handle on the screwdriver. Here you go. We were having problems holding the pieces on the table, so we took some shelving material, laid that on the table, cut it off, and that's helping us keep the pieces in place. There's a lot of screws. You don't want to lose them. Step 19 right now. And the time hack is 44 minutes. Okay, there's a whole bunch of cords that come with it. We're putting this armor piece on. This is one of those sensors. It's a pressure piece. You would think that it's not behind the armor, but I guess it is. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. You don't want to over torque on any of these screws, otherwise you could break the plastic piece. So did you figure out which one it is?
Yep, this one.
That one? Let me see. Show it for the public. Okay. Now put it on the chassis. We find ourselves flipping back and forth between the number to the part piece, in this case Q's, then it tells you how long it is, and to where the location is in the box. Highly recommend you leave the parts in the box, because as soon as you take them out, it becomes more of a scavenger hunt for you. Time is 58 minutes 30 seconds, and we're putting the first armored sensor panel on the left side. Okay, another interesting part of the build is this back section where the battery goes, because this isn't tied down because you keep putting more cables in there, and then that pops up like this. Being an engineer, I'm a little concerned about this screw right here, because I think that's not enough for that. Give it any kind of impact and you may have some problems. So we're going to have to probably come up with a bumper system to protect that somehow. Because I'm not real. That one screw on each side holds that in place. And that's so you can get, like I said, once you get this down, the battery compartment opens up, and that's where you put the battery in, I believe. And it clicks down nice, but these screws just don't seem like it's enough structure to hold it in place. Kind of a weakness of the design. At least that's the observation I have now. Time hack, we're a little over 81 minutes. We just completed step 36. The main part of the robot, body of the robot is together with 3 of the 4 sensors, and now we're starting into the motors. Step 37. We're just ready to do step 50, which is put the wheels on, and it's supposed to be 100. Add a 104 minutes. Making progress, still very interested. Doesn't want to take any breaks. For a 12-year-old, that's a really big deal because, you know, you get bored pretty quickly.
Hey.
Okay, so we did something wrong here. We were trying to figure out which wheel is, and you could probably, you know, either statistically you'll be lucky to get it right just by chance, but you can see that we put the wrong wheel on given the symbol. The symbol shows you which wheel should be on each side. You notice this symbol is different than this symbol. So we'll have to take that wheel off and readjust. But that's how you figure it out. Not real clear in the instructions. Wanted to show you something. You got to get these 3 holes lined up with these 3 holes. That's a big deal. And the only way you know that is because then this will become flush. Right? So that's flush now. So now you know that those 3 pieces are all lined up, because that's nice and flat in there. All right, we're at 114 minutes, under 2 hours, and we've got all 4 wheels on. Making progress. Okay, we are at what step are we? Step 59.
Yeah.
We're ready to put the gimbal on, and we're right at 2 hours and 1 minute. Okay, this is a 2-hand job putting this, what do you call this thing? The gun or whatever it is? The blaster. But see, we put it in backwards. This piece should be over here. where these four are together. And the way you know that is because these plugs here need to plug into here. So that's how we figured out we did it wrong. So now we have to take it apart, put it back together again. It's okay, we're learning.
Steadily.
So once you put all these top pieces on, then you have to flip it over. So let's try this. Let's take the boxes. Get the other box. What are these? These are the shelves. What do we call them, these things? Okay, so that will help keep them in place a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe.
you almost knocked the screws off.
Yeah, that would have been bad, wouldn't it?
Would have.
Okay, but having two people do this obviously is preferred. Okay, do your magic, dude.
Where's the screwdriver? So, I'm supposed to fish them through to the main.
See, we don't have to turn it up. So you could turn it on its side, right?
Yeah.
Because this is kind of dangerous with all that sensor stuff on top.
Yeah, actually, why are we doing it?
I don't think you need to turn over. Recommendation, do it on the side. Time, 1 hour, 56 minutes and 4 seconds to build this robot. We had a couple setbacks, but overall, the plans were fairly easy to follow.
Barely.
And how much spare extra stuff did we have?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Just show the camera what. So these are all the spare pieces we had left. There's probably half a container of grease left. Be a little generous on the grease. We were a little skimpy at the beginning because we didn't think that this would be enough. And then here are the pellets
You're supposed to put them in water.
that we put in water, but you can see how small it is.
They're Orbeez.
Orbeez. And this container is a little over 4 inches or about 11 centimeters on this container. It's not that big of a container, but these little micro beads, they look like little dots. We'll ultimately put them in water and then you can fire them with the cannon. All right, our robot is complete, built. Went through and tightened up some of the wheels. They were a little loose. So what's the next thing you gotta do? You take the charger, and it's a little different. Pull that out, put it in like this, slide it down, and it takes about 45 minutes. Push that little charger thing, and when it's fully charged, it gives you 4 bars like that. When it's done charging, it actually shuts off. You gotta hold it to shut it off. This is a iPad 2017. Works fine on that, an older iPad. And now this is a Samsung tablet. It's about 3-4 years old. I like using older tech to see if it works. So I've downloaded the app from the App Store, and I'm going to choose this option. Okay, so now you have to put in the connect, go to connect. Found this a little confusing, but at first. So to go to Wi-Fi, gotta put this thing on first. So, forgot about that. So you open up the compartment here, and you slide the battery in. It only goes in one way, which is always a good thing. Hit the button here, and your robot comes to life. Now, if you haven't calibrated the robot, first thing you use the thing you built the wheels in, and you put it down on that to keep it from rolling away, and you do a wheel sequence. Well, I don't think you need to do that every time. We'll find out. So I have to choose. Go back. This is a little confusing. It goes back and forth. So you make sure your Wi-Fi is on. Here it is. You choose the RMS1, this thing here, and you put in the passcode. The password is 1234 1234. Assume you can change it. Connect. Does that silly sound? So I'm connected. Go back to the app. maybe. This is the fire mechanism. Or hold it down, rapid fire. And that probably just greened out my, let's move this off to the side. Let's try it again. So this is the fire mechanism. Or hold it down, rapid fire. And then this controls the wheels. And as soon as you let go, it really comes to a stop pretty quickly. That's the view from the camera. It's pretty amazing. And you can see the turret moves wherever you point that turret. That's the direction the vehicle is going to go into. You can back it up. This actually is a zoom feature. So you can kind of see, let's stop the vehicle. So that's a zoom in. So like a 2x zoom. Or this right here, and you can kind of see where the turret is. On the iPad version, this turret right here is more predominant in the picture. It kind of comes up more like this. It's got AI, it follows people that it sees. Tell you what, this thing costs $500, but we sent our kids to robot camp for $500, and they certainly didn't get this experience. Plus, then you have a robot to play with and potentially destroy. We'll see how it goes. We've got dozens of ideas on how we're going to test this thing out and see what it can do. It works both on iPads and iProducts and Android products. Just as equally, I've tested them out on both. Future evaluations coming soon. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. And subscribe if you're interested, because the robot tests are going to come fast and furious.